Hi, I'm Bob Canote, and I know we haven't talked in a while, but on this episode of the Camp Chaos Chronicles, I'm going to be telling you what I've been up to for the past month or so and what's coming up before the end of the year. Don't worry, it's all good stuff. Dang it. Now, the reason I haven't been communicating much lately is because of the fact that there's been a lot of things going on around here, mainly because of my health issue over the past couple of years. Things have gotten backed up, and at the beginning of this year, I just had 2 engine projects going on, but then another project came along, this one, and I threw that in the middle of my schedule, and it was kind of right back to where I was before, where there's just a lot of work to do, and you know, got to get it done because your clients are paying you for this stuff. So that's what's been going on. Now, it's been kind of bottlenecked around here because I had those 2 engine projects that were pre-existing that were kind of taking a lot of attention away from this project, which is a very important project for the business. And I finally had to just say, you know what, I've got to put this car off because I'm rushing things. I really want to do this right. So I took the time to get these 2 engines off of the boards so that I can do nothing but focus on this. And I got a couple other projects going on that I need to do as well. Plus, being able to post videos so that you folks can see what's happening. For those of you that aren't aware, in 2021 I was diagnosed with bladder cancer. And 2022 and 23, things really moved pretty slow. I was committed to doing some projects, but I had some clients who were real understanding of the situation. Lately, this being November 2024, for the past year, I've been going in for regular checkups where they kind of go in and cruise around, see what it looks like, and there's been no evidence of the cancer. And I go back in January and, you know, based on how I feel and evidence that I view a few times a day, I think I'm doing pretty well. So there's that. The other thing that is kind of complicated or taken up some time over the past few months is that I delivered an engine out to Pennsylvania, stuck it in the minivan and hit the road and saw my brother while I was out in that neighborhood. I also took a few days, went out to Colorado and picked up a car, and you know, that took a few days, and then I took some time off and went out and saw my daughter in Montana, and that was a good time as well. So it hasn't been all work. There has been a little play in there, but not much that anyone would recognize as a vacation. I look to doing a few road trips this coming year. So let's see what's going on here at Camp Chaos. So let's start out with the engine room, see what's going on here. Oh, by the way, what we got here is a sort of experimental electroplating setup that my son Bill and I are experimenting with plating processes. Mixed results so far. We'll do a video on this when we actually get some results, which it's just a matter of time. It's just learning the process. Anyway, I got to say that this room has absolutely worked out wonderfully. It's exactly what I hoped it would be. And what we got to do is we got to empty it out a little bit. We've been using this to sort of categorize parts a little bit. I want nothing but engine parts in this room and clean engine parts that are going on engines. And we got a lot of things like cruise control parts and ignition parts and, you know, things that are related to the chassis rather than being directly related to the engine. So this spring what we're going to do, once we get a little more time, we're going to take that stuff and move about half of it out to another location. But in terms of organization, despite appearances, this looks really good. Engine bearings that I bought. That's a long story too that we won't get into right now. But when you find this stuff, you got to buy it. Now, one of the things that I've been doing recently is some fuel injection rails. If you remember this, the CT200, if you remember from a video that I did probably a couple of years ago, It just was a nightmare getting this thing to work properly, because I guarantee you that it was returned because it didn't work. Somebody filled with it a little bit and sent it back out for 50 bucks less. And me being a frugal guy, 50 bucks is 50 bucks. So I bought it, and it was kind of a nightmare until I got it working. It worked for 2 years. And what I'm doing now is right in the middle of doing a video, which basically has to do with how bad can injectors be? How long can they be sitting out in the wide open under the eaves of buildings with water splashing on them for 20 years and still be brought back? And I got halfway through it, and guess what? This thing doesn't work. It'll build pressure, but it won't cycle the injectors. So I think we got a motherboard problem again. The pump's fine. That was the problem last time, but they had sent me a motherboard out to replace it to see if that made any difference, which it did not. So I still got that, but the problem with that motherboard is the fact that in the ultrastatic cleaner here, which works fine, with the spare motherboard that I have, it only cycled the injectors like once a second, and you need to do it more than that for the cleaning process. So the saga continues. We'll see how customer service works with me this time. So let's see what's going on here in the machine shop. Pretty much the same as you've seen before, except for this thing right here. This is a Herrig 612 surface grinder. It's complete with a DRO. It says X and Y, but it's set up just for Z-axis, which is all you really need on a surface grinder. And the purpose of this thing is it's got a magnetic vise here, which you throw that switch down there, and you can lay material on top here and then run this back and forth and in and out to grind things down to a thinner dimension. Well, this end of the building here is my cylinder head area. So this thing is going to be useful in terms of taking thick shims, which I have an organizer full of because they're what they come from the factory with, and surface grind them down to thinner dimensions. And the reason that I wanted this was that, number one, shims are getting up around $7 a piece these days, at least the normal retailers that I use. And plus the fact that you normally have to wait about a week and a half to get them. Now, why would you dedicate this much shop space and this much money for this machine? Well, a good one is about $3,000. I got this for $900, I believe. What I had to do, though, is I had to put in a phase converter, three-phase converter, because all I have out here is single phase, and pay an electrician to do that because I don't like electrical in the first place, and I'm not real good at it. 12 volts one thing, 220 is another, so I'm leaving that to the professionals. Problem is, it doesn't work. Now, I bought it for $900. I got $500 in paying the electrician and another $250 for the phase converter, that deal right there, and it doesn't work. It turns on and then it quits. And I called customer service for Herrig, and they said, sounds like you got a bad switch, and be more than happy to sell you a brand new switch for $613. So now we're up around $2,000. All right, $3,000 machine for $2,000, not bad. Well, it does the same thing with the new switch in it. So we suspect the phase converter's back in the box. But it turns out that I'm 2 days past the Amazon return date on that thing. So what we got to do is troubleshoot it ourselves, and I may have a worthless box of junk there. So anyway, the point is that this really would streamline the operation here. As far as getting cylinder heads together in a timely fashion, because I really don't like a break in the action. Once I'm going on something, I want to keep going. Plus the fact, if I can get this thing going for $3,000, it'll never be worth less than that. So let's take a look at what really has been taking up the time around here, and that is this project. This is the 1989 Jaguar XJS Convertible. The job I received from a company that needed to offload it for a number of reasons, mainly personnel after COVID, but they did a beautiful job on the body. It really is flawless. We got a few scuffs on it right now. That's what happens when you're doing one of these things. We've been really careful, but when it gets done, it's going to be pretty awesome. We have to put the hood on it yet, and it needs to be color sanded in order to bring it up to the standard of the rest of the vehicle. It hasn't been touched yet after it was painted, but we got everything together here up front, with the exception of we've got to finish putting the bumper in and the spoiler on the bottom and so forth. The engine, it really just needs to have some connections made. Most of the electrical connections have been done. We got to do some vacuum line running at this point. We did have to install the power steering cooler down below there and get the lines all hooked up, which required the coolant recovery tank to be removed to be able to work on it. And we found that there was only, it appears to be an aftermarket tank, and there were only the two mounting studs up front, and there was a tab in the back that was missing. It had broken off at some point, so I had to weld a tab on here without ruining the appearance of the tank, which worked out real well. The brake system, the pump turns on. I replaced a couple of lines in this system, and I don't think that's going to be much of an issue. I've got a number of other systems around here. I don't know if the XJ40 system is the same as the XJS system. They appear to be. Have to do a little research on that. If you have an opinion on that, let me know, because that would be a helpful bit of information if there does seem to be a problem here, because I have both XJ40 and XJS systems. Moving back, the mirrors work. Unfortunately, I don't have the heating element in there on these because, well, you know, it's been 40 years old, and as far as I know, they're not available new. We've got the door cards in, and it looks good, but problem is that between us getting the windows working and now the window regulator makes some weird noises. That's a problem with working on an old car. Where there's not a lot of aftermarket support is, you know, it's 30-year-old stuff. So what we got to do is pull this card off and figure out what the problem is there. The interior is starting to go in. It doesn't look real organized at this point, but we got the carpet figured out where everything goes. We got a kit from Paul's Jaguar that appears to be a really good kit. We're doing that. We got all the wood in, all the switches work, the air conditioning works in the manual mode as far as the unit is concerned. Won't know anymore until we get the engine running. Don't want to be charging it when the engine hasn't been run in. Not a good thing. The top is installed. All we got to do here is essentially, once we get the carpet in, finish attaching the headliner to the chassis. The top is, it's not an original top, but it's one that came with the car when it came in the shop. And we just need to run the cable along the back and fix a few things on the seal. But that looks pretty good. The wheels, for an original set of wheels, they look really good. I'd like to send them out to have them repainted, but I don't think that's necessary. All four of them look really good. Tires appear to be reasonably new. Chrome came back. Spent a bit of money on chrome, but it looks really good. It's a little smudged right now, but it looks great. Now the trunk also needs to be wet sanded and buffed in order to match that right there. But pretty proud of the trunk. Restored the motif bar in the back. Took the best one I had and made that look better. Tony buffed up the lights. Looks really good. Gonna have him do the same thing out here. to bring them up to standard. I really like the way the trunk turned out. It was really difficult to find carpet that matched the original. In fact, I wasn't able to. The closest I could get was this from a home improvement center that we've got a few miles away here. It's the same exact material, except in the store it looked gray. Here, that's blue. That won't work. Maybe on a black car it would, but I don't know. Doesn't look the same. So what I did is I cleaned up the old carpet. I couldn't believe how well this turned out. Used a product called OxyClean carpet stain remover. Worked great. And as you can see, we've got all the lighting working everywhere. And when that all came alive, that was a big boost. The only issue we have electrically is so if you got any ideas about what's happening there, leave a comment down below. Tony thinks he has a good idea of what's going on, but it'd be good to have second, third, 10th opinions. The next project here is to install the exhaust system, stainless steel exhaust system from a company called Bell in the UK. And it's a pretty piece of merchandise there, although it did come a little dinged up. The end of some of the tubes have been banged around, so I had to reform those, but I would imagine when you ship something from the UK, it's going to get beat up a little bit. So the heat shields have been restored and put in place underneath, and you know, we're getting close. Another significant piece of work is to take this, which is the storage compartment behind the seats, and get that done in black carpet. Gonna have to pull this bar off and have that chromed. I think that'll clean up. But once we get the carpet in, then this goes in, and then the rest of the trim in the interior. And the goal here is to have this running before the snow flies, have it roadworthy, so we can take it out and put our punch list together, things that need to be taken care of before delivery. But I would really like to get this project buttoned up by the end of the year. A lot of work, but right now it's the only thing I got to do. So that's what I've been up to for the past couple of months. A lot of stuff, but we're really getting to the point now where by the end of the year things are going to be caught up around here, so that it's going to be a lot less frantic and a lot less stress, because this is really supposed to be fun, isn't it? Now the plan here is to get 4 or 5 more videos out by the end of the year, and then I'm going to take the month of January off to get things staged up for next season. And I think next year we're going to have a little more fun at this, or I am anyway. So if you like these videos, like, subscribe, and maybe leave a comment or two down below so we can know what we can do to do what we do better. And we'll see you the next time on the Camp Chaos Chronicles.